Hi, I'm Becca, and I use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Josie. I use he, they pronouns.
And we're your judges. Nailed it.
This is By the Cover. It's a new podcast, a relatively new podcast.
It's very, very new.
Episode 2. And it is a comedy podcast about Amazon book review culture.
Mm-hmm. We're so excited. Episode 2. We didn't know this was happening by episode 1, but we have our theme.
Yeah, we have a theme song. Don't Let's
Start by They Might Be Giants.
Uh-huh.
I'm geeking out like 2%. Like 2%, only 2%.
When we first met with Mike to talk about the podcast, he asked us to pick songs that kind of sounded like what we wanted the theme song to be.
We went into the meeting and we were like, it's this song. It's this song. And Mike was like, that's nice.
Yeah, no, and he agreed with us that it was a good song, and we went in and we were like, we don't really know what like the budget is for like things like a theme song, and Mike said none, and we said that's fine.
None pizza left beef.
We accept this because we're getting these 10 episodes.
We are
free.
So lucky to have wandered through the desert of sound, and now we are here. We found our home.
To the Rock Media Network.
We have our Productions. Oh God, this is not good radio.
This is great radio. Thank you very much. But we had no budget, and so that was fine. And we were gonna go with, it's not radio.
This is not good podcast.
This is not good podcast content. Mike wants us to not call it radio because he actually does radio. He says no, he doesn't do radio. He just does live stream.
So many bad things.
Content.
We're not doing very strongly today.
We can.
Anyway, we reached
Mike
out to They Might Be
the...
Giants, and they were generous enough to allow us to have their theme song, and we are so grateful to them for that. It feels whole and complete.
Yeah, absolutely, and we are very, very excited. Let's move on. To the show. In this show, we present to each other books, and here's a book for you.
Never before seen by me.
Yeah, actually, this is one that has been seen before by you. I thought that something that could be cool, because we talked about in episode 0 what kind of started the show. Was us reading Amazon books. I can still not find the book that we originally got.
So excited.
But the thing that brought us there was a Q&A and then live reading of the Adventure Zone Murder on the Rockport Limited.
Oh, that's a delight.
Yeah, graphic novel. And so I thought, what a fun way to celebrate that, and also to plug the McElroys so that I have a reason to tweet about them after this episode goes
besides
live.
the already torrent of tweets directed at the McElroys.
Griffin McElroy, please be on our show.
Josie has noticed me senpaiing so hard right now.
I don't like that phrase at all. That is not what I'm doing. He is a popular podcaster who lives in Austin, Texas, and we live in Waco, Texas, and Central Texas podcasters should get together. And he's very famous. And I think he's cool.
Okay.
In the second Adventure Zone graphic novel, adapted from the McElroy family's wildly popular D&D podcast. See, I thought I was going to have to do some exposition of what it was.
I mean, I think they already have so much to kind of like flip-flop up against.
We rejoin hero-adjacent sort of comrades in arms, Taco, Magnus, and Merle on a wild careen through a D&D railroad murder mystery. Mike has stepped away from the headphones.
We're free.
We're free.
Big brother can't watch us anymore. We can say radio.
Mike has no idea what we're saying. Radio. Welcome to our radio show.
Please.
On a wild careen through a D&D railroad murder mystery.
Yeah, is it a wild careen?
It's a wild careen.
There's a lot of mystery involved there.
This installment has a little of everything. A genius child detective, an axe-wielding professional wrestler, a surly wizard, cursed magical artifacts, and a pair of meat monsters. You know, the usual things you find on a train.
Mm-hmm.
Hot on the heels of The Adventure Zone, Here There Be Gerblins, the smash hit graphic novel that launched the series, The Adventure Zone, Murder on the Rockport Lara picks up the saga. Essentially, it's the second volume. Also, not only is it the McElroy family, but also Carrie Peach is the artist who worked with them.
She makes such beautiful colors.
And yes, Carrie Peach is wonderful at what she does, and I'm very excited because the third book, Pedals to the Metal, I think is on pre-order right now, and we're waiting around because we want to get it when we're going to go see the live show.
We're going to get on that live show.
All right, but since we kind of already know what the book is about, and I'll just kind of say I think people should read it, let's see what other people think about it. 676 ratings. 5 stars on Amazon. Do you want to guess the spread? So 5 out of 5 is the average, and obviously
5 out of 5 is the average.
Mm-hmm.
Nicely done.
So yeah, it's weighted obviously very heavily. So I guess I'll just kind of have you guess. 98% is 5 stars. Where do you think the other 2% lie?
4.7 is where I'm gonna land on this average review.
What? No.
Wait.
It's 5 out of 5 is already the average. So 98% is 5 stars. So there's 2% that's either 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars. Where do you think those 2% are?
1.
No, it's 4. This is an excellent book.
Oh, well,
so
to be expected, I guess.
Let's see what the 2% say. What the absolute...
Oh, I get it now. Sorry, I'm not good at math, apparently.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I explain it wrong?
No, I apparently can't do math, as we discussed in the first episode.
I realize this is the problem. I'm not in my artistic persona yet.
You can't read in those you can't read in your sunglasses.
I actually can, because these are polarized lenses. Go ahead and everyone should check out SunCloud polarized sunglasses. They are excellent, and they should sponsor us.
I hate this.
Kindle customer verified purchase. I want to be clear. I want to be very clear that this is not a Kindle customer, although it is, right? They did buy it on a Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
Their name is Kindle customer, which I guess might just be an automatic thing.
I think it's an automatic
thing. But it's still a choice to make. You know, I wouldn't go to...
Please, Mr. Customer is my father. Call me Kindle.
Call me Kindle. But, I wouldn't go to Best Buy and say, failing business customer. I wouldn't do that. Best Buy is failing. Anyway. 4 stars. Angus McDorable. The story continues. Angus MacDonald is one of the characters, and this person is saying that they find Angus adorable. The story continues. Same excellent artist, well adapted from podcast, now with the addition of everyone's favorite character, Angus MacDonald, boy detective. Cannot wait for the next installment of the story. Well, then why is it only 4 stars, Kindle customer?
I mean, listen, nobody achieves perfection. I really on this Amazon scale, I really need a half star. I mean, I just don't believe in perfection in any way.
Oh, really? So you would never give anything a 5 out of 5 star?
No, I couldn't do it. That really goes against my code. As we were taught in school, you have to suffer to earn anything, specifically anything higher than a 4 star.
I think that it should also be noted then that you wouldn't give our podcast a 5 out of 5 stars, if that makes
Couldn't do it.
Sad.
Couldn't do it.
But why not?
Because I am cruel.
I give our podcast 5 out of 5 stars.
Reader,
right.
He did.
KCW says 5 stars. It's not the same as the podcast, but that's not a bad thing.
Apparently it is. It's 1 whole star of a bad thing.
So this is a 5-star review. We moved into the 5 stars. But I think that this is an interesting... It's not the same as the podcast. Yeah? Yeah? Is the comic book different than the audio story?
I mean, they do change things up in a significant way.
I love these comics as a supplement to Taz. The artwork is funny and often breathtaking. The story is far tighter and easier to follow, and nothing significant feels left out of the volume. Besides, being able to see it is a delight all its own. Clint and Carrie did an excellent job bringing this to life, and while I miss a lot of the banter and hijinks that come from listening to a podcast of close family, and I have to admit, the times Griffin pops into the narrative and they try to include some of their meta jokes / gaming actually are a detriment to the overall comic, in my opinion. But it illustrates one of the things that make Taz so special. Now, why is this one a 5-star review? Because this one comes in with a lot of criticism.
I mean, because nothing is perfect, Josie, and so it made me feel warm and fuzzy, but I'm still going to give it, it's constructive criticism. That's important. We also learn about that in school.
Yeah, no, that's definitely valid. The person's main point, they say, is that they want the balance arc told straight, that they don't want the meta of D&D added into it and kind of just letting the story exist, which I just fundamentally disagree with. I really like the D&D meta. Thank you very much. Well, I have opinions.
I've never known that about you.
All right, that's kind of all I had for this one. Kind of figured I'd let it be a shorter one. But I just thought it'd be very fun and very cute, and also everyone should go check that out.
Yeah.
Because the McElroys are kind of a big reason why Becca and I got into podcasting to begin with, and so I thought that could be very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But a shorter bit means that we are going to be jumping to ad break just a little bit sooner.
Every time. We shouldn't. I don't think we should do music for ad breaks. I don't think that works. I don't think that's functional.
Hello, we are What's Your Excuse?
Podcast.
Exactly.
That's
I'm
right.
Caitlin,
I am Megan.
and we are here to talk to you about all of your things that you want to shit talk about.
That's right.
Is your life going poorly? Check.
Are you curious about diseases that are running rampant?
Check. Do you want to know all the places I have had sex in this world?
Check.
Check. You can find that all right here on What's Your Excuse podcast at Rogue Media Network. You can find us on Apple Podcast,
Spotify,
Stitcher,
Google Play.
and Google. Yes, that's right. And give us a follow. Thanks.
What's your excuse?
And we're back.
Hi, we're so glad to be back.
What a great business or product we just learned about.
Do you like those goods? You should go get those services.
Yeah, those services sound real good, and those goods sound real
Service. Okay, Josie, are you ready? Are you ready for our segment today? I'm very excited.
I'm really excited for this segment.
Do. It's Classy Corner.
Classy Corner. Ooh, what do you have for us today, Becca?
Okay, so this segment is a segment where I am going to read Josie only the reviews for some book or manuscript that is a classic of the literature canon that we know today. And I'm very excited to bring this book to them, and we're gonna party so hard about it. Okay, so Jason gives this 3 stars. And this verified purchase wants us to know that this is not the cleanest or most professional edition, but it has all of the important bits. Jed Crossman also gives it 3 stars. Jed wants us to know that it is big book.
Big book.
Good book. Size is crazy big. Was hoping it would be smaller and thicker like my other redacted books.
Big book. Wish it was smaller.
Okay.
And thicker.
Okay.
This person definitely prefers girth over length, I guess, is what we're getting. Jokes.
So this is kind of a big hint. Monique Pontius wants us to know 1 star. Play, not book. Sucked.
Play, not book. Sucked. Okay, so that's 3. So I'm gonna try making a guess real quick. Bigger, play, not book. I don't know a lot of Peter Pan.
No.
Okay. Is it a classic play or is it a classic book and this is like the play adaptation?
It is a classic play.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So CH1411
Mm-hmm.
gave this 3 stars. I had trouble reading this book and had help from a website to understand the language. I think it is better seen as a play than read, which is the main intention. Some of the situations seemed unlikely for a book that I thought was supposed to be somewhat realistic. I understand suspending disbelief, but again, I think it would be easier to do that in a play form, not a book. Otherwise, it had a good message and was fun to talk to with friends and or class.
When I read something, I can't imagine it. When something fantastical happens in the written page, I just can't. I can't get there.
It just like
I just wish I saw it in the real world. Then maybe I could
I
believe
mean,
it.
it's so confusing when we get those sorts of things from plays like this. So I really think this review is gonna be the kicker. Erica says 4 stars, really good book. Good, so, but I really loved this book. It made understanding a lot easier for my students, but I will say that some parts are a little much. It seems like the translator looks for the most vulgar way to word some of author's crude jokes. Author is crude, to be sure, and some of it is quite funny. However, sometimes the translator goes too far the other way. Plus, there were parts that weren't necessarily as sexual in the original as it was presented in the translated version, like scenes that were purposely left ambiguous so that it might have been interpreted in more than one way. This actually took away from some of the cleverness and thoughtfulness of some of author's jokes.
Is it like a Greek play?
Nope.
Oh, is this? Oh,
Because of this, I had to pre-read all the scenes to choose which scenes we read in the book and which ones we read from the original text from the
Okay.
textbook where students couldn't read the translation. I did, however, find that the classes that used both original and translated reasons for the unit had an easier time understanding the original text when challenged to do so, likely because they didn't feel as overwhelmed from days of old text.
is it the Underpants?
No, you're
No?
thinking way too obscure.
Oh man,
Way too
okay.
obscure.
What do I know then?
Film, comic, TV series adaptations multiply the story of this classic play. I have enjoyed many of its mirrors, and such as the version with Leonardo DiCaprio in Miami, the Kung Fu version with Jet Li, the black and white classes with...
is it a Romeo and Juliet?
It's the No Fear Shakespeare,
The
Romeo
No
and Juliet.
I was going. They kept on saying translation, and I thought that. I don't know what to do with that when they. Oh no! Oh dear! You don't. It's not a translation. It's like it's more of like an explanation, though.
Mhm.
But oh man. That's really...
To be clear, I really want to just like highlight at the very end, D. Dunstock, 2 stars. Title of the thing is Fired Up. To be clear, I reread this book for the language, not the story. Not the story. Laud. Can we all agree that what happened to RJ is really Friar Lawrence's fault? Come on, Lawrence. These are kids. You encouraged Juliet to make dying potions so that she, a 14-year-old girl, could be with her infatuation of what, 3 days? Like, you're supposed to be older, wiser, akin to God adult, and you don't even think that faking her death was like a red flag? You shouldn't have to fake your death in order to be with someone, FFS. Oh, and then Lawrence joins in the Capulets and nurse when they're all crying about Juliet's death. For shame, Friar Lawrence. Friar John is no better. Worse than snail mail. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. P.S. The whole scene between Peter, first musician, and second musician can go. P.P.S. I'm so mad.
I'm so mad. Listen, I have opinions about Romeo and Juliet.
I just really love that there was somebody on the internet who was like, hot take Romeo and Juliet time. Nobody's ever done a hot take about this play before.
Has anyone ever noticed how it's actually the people in the play's fault what happened to them in this tragedy? Have you noticed how the actions of people led to the consequences in the play?
I just really thought Romeo and Juliet were going to make it in this read.
This particular translation, I do appreciate that, like, most people were really sticking to, like, I'm going to give a review of the No Fear Shakespeare and kind of like this edition and kind of what it does. And this person was like, I have opinions for Mr. Shakespeare. I have some notes.
Mr. Shakespeare, if you can just get back to me, I would love to DM you and just talk about this.
Oh no.
I think it is really great that someone is reacting to old books like that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really important.
Ad break?
Oh, perhaps we shall go to an ad. Have you ever had a need and or want?
No.
Okay, well, for the sake of the advertisement, have you ever had a need and or want?
Yes.
There we go. And what about a goal and or desire?
No.
Becca,
Okay, yes.
we have a goods and or service for you.
Ooh?
That's right. That need and or want can be fulfilled by the following product and or business. Let's listen in.
Yay!
Ready?
Yeah, let's record.
Hey, man. It's your boy Prescription. Tuned in to Bluesville. Terry ain't shit. 2020. Shout out Ontario, though. The truth. You know what I'm saying? How about that? Y'all can use that?
Can we use that?
Oh boy. You ready?
Yeah. And we're back.
And we're back. I'm so glad that I'm out of breath.
Just kidding. We're not back quite yet.
Forgot the book. I thought
mean,
I could do it.
How could you forget the
I know.
Bible of this show?
I know.
Our guiding light.
Light. But we are in fact back.
The Holy Hogue.
Holy Oak.
Yikes. Is this...
So last episode we alienated the Yang Gang. Now we're gonna alienate the Jesus Gang.
Oh, just you wait, Josie. Are you ready for today's book? For my book of the day?
Are we gonna alienate the Jesus Gang?
I mean,
Becca?
maybe it's pretty light. Okay.
Yeah. No, let's hear it.
So I went to Fort Worth. My parents were in town, and my mother loves thrift shopping, and I realized that thrift shopping is the perfect time for me to look through the weird old book section at all of those poor little books that nobody wanted, that they gave to the thrift store. And so I found a selection of books that kind of like tickled my fancy. And specifically I found To Like the Lightning, by Ada Palmer. And I said, this actually sounds like a really interesting fantasy. Like, I picked it up and I was really excited to read it. And then I read the back of it.
Yes.
Mycroft Canner is a convict. For his crimes, he is required, as the custom of the 25th century, to wander the world, being as useful as he can to all he meets. Carlyle Foster is a sensayer, a spiritual counselor.
Wait, I'm sorry. He's a what?
A sensayer.
What's a sensei?
We're gonna find out. A sensayer, a spiritual counselor in a world that has outlawed the public practice of religion,
Oh no.
but which also knows that the inner lives of humans cannot be wished away. The world into which Mycroft and Carlyle have been born is as strange to our 21st century eyes as would be to a native of the 1500s. It is a hard-won utopia built on technologically generated abundance and also on complex and mandatory systems of labeling, all public writing and speech. What seems to us normal gender distinctions are now distinctly taboo in most social situations.
Oh, no.
Honestly, the fucking dream.
Could you imagine if you weren't viewed as a gender, but just like as
An
a
individual?
human, you're married as an individual?
And most of the world's population is affiliated with globe-girdling clans of the like-minded, whose endless economic and cultural competition is carefully managed by central planners of inestimable subtlety. To us, it seems like a mad combination of heaven and hell. To them, it seems like normal life. And in this world, Mycroft and Carlyle have stumbled on the wild card that may destabilize the system. The boy, Bridger, who can effortlessly make his wishes come true. Who can, it would seem, bring inanimate objects to life.
Wait a minute. So there's magic.
Uh-huh. No.
Wait.
This world, there's no gender, there's no religion, except for this dude who, like, proselytizes, yeah?
As a man.
As I don't know.
So is it Jeebus?
I don't know, but it does. It sounds very much like Jesus.
Yeah, it's like we're like in like a lost world where no one has a gender and everyone
No one has religion.
like is just like nice to each other
and nope,
it's fine.
It's fine. It's probably great.
I'm sorry, what is the hell that they're concerned about? Where is like
no.
listening through the summary, I could not pinpoint a moment where things were bad?
Eric Avera wants us to know that with his 4 stars, I guess with I shouldn't make assumptions, right?
I think that no, we shouldn't make assumptions, but we can definitely find out what this person. No, actually, we should aggressively use a gender-neutral pronoun.
I think we should use
for
they.
this
I think that's
person.
actually really good.
Well,
in
especially
general.
because the book has ruined.
Truly, we don't have gender right now.
No gender in this world. We found utopia where gender stops existing.
So Eric Avera gave their 4-star review, verified purchase, obviously. Says more philosophy than sci-fi. This novel is an odd hybrid of historical reflection, falafel treaties,
a lot of falafel treaties,
and far future speculative fiction with a few quasi-pornographic episodes thrown in for good measure.
What? Wait, what?
I mean, listen, I don't like my philosophy texts without a good fucking thrown in there.
Wait a minute. Is this just like... So what religion does this preacher, Carlyle?
We have to continue reading. I loved it in places and rolled my eyes in others. As a book written to make you think, it succeeds unequivocally. You will question your own ethical beliefs and the future of family, society, and politics if you read these pages carefully. As a book full of interesting characters, it mostly succeeds. There are aspects of Mycroft Canner, the narrator, that are hard to reconcile with one another. Bridger, a curious 13-year-old who is at the fulcrum of much of the action, sometimes comes across as an 8-year-old, sometimes as an adult, but barely strikes me as being 13, even given his atypical upbringing. Overall, the characterization is stylized and creative, but it has inconsistencies. My biggest gripes are with the plotting and pacing. I love the philosophical and speculative tangents, but they thoroughly bog down the pacing for the handfuls of pages at a time. You may not even understand the purpose behind their inclusion until you are brought back into the unfolding action half a chapter later. The plot itself hinges on statistical projections that I find very difficult to believe, either in their recurrence or their stability.
This fantasy world is based on things that I find fantastical to imagine.
Why do we keep having all of these people who are looking for maths inside of their, fantasy?
I guess maybe this writer did, in fact, put a lot of maths in, is the idea. Like, they put a lot of statistical projectionings,
Okay, I'm gonna keep digging. So Hazel75 gave this a 2-star. Interesting premise, unengaging characters. I'm deeply ambivalent about this book, which 2-star does not indicate to me ambivalence.
Yeah, I don't really care one way or the other, but also at the same time.
I wanted to like it, but almost none of the characters are likable except for the child Bridger, maybe Martin Guildbreaker, and maybe the narrator. The narrator is a pretty big character. The author, in my opinion, is way more into telling rather than showing. We're told that Jedd Mason is worshipped and just and kind very emphatically. He's godlike, in fact. However, one has to be told because one sure as heck wouldn't come to that conclusion from what one observes. If one weren't told, you'd think he was some kind of weirdo with special talents. Similarly with the Golden Twids, Ganymede and Danae, or Mason and the King of Spain. Frankly, they're all rather grotesque and colloquial in a more academic sense. The narrator himself is one of the few folks who feels like one might know anyway when the reader is told about his horrifying past. The narrator himself is one of the few folks one feels like one might know and anyway, and then the reader is told about his horrifying past. Only just enough to cause a lot of cognitive dissonance. I'm experiencing cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of cognitive dissonance going on right now. Thank you.
Because it's virtually impossible from the characterization one is given to glean any motives, which might be my biggest problem. The characterization is such that I couldn't empathize, sympathize, or love or hate anyone. I felt a bit like a deist myself looking down at this author's creation, finding it uninteresting, somewhat distasteful, but utterly unengaging. This is not ambivalence. I wish I could find
aggressively dislike this book.
I wish
feels like
I could find a good summary of the second book because I would like to know what happens. I'm just not sure I want to spend my time reading about these puppets further to find out.
Yeah, no, The statistical analysis show.
I just really appreciated the fact
I've done a lot of projections, and I can't seem to find.
I wish I could tell you. The thing is, so E says 1 star, poorly and pretentiously written, incoherent. There's a right way and a wrong way to write a story like this. Neil Stephenson's Anathem is a fine example of how it should be done. Although Anathem introduces a complex new world with dozens of new concepts, Stevenson takes the time to explain them and make them seem real, writing, fleshed out and understandable. The lives of his character and their world make sense. This book, on the other hand, is needlessly turgid, overwrought, and the author is very poor at introducing her setting and concepts. Her characters, moreover, are inscrutable and opaque.
Ooh, I can't see them, and also I can't see through them.
Frankly, I gave up about 10% of the way in. This book evoked nothing but feeling 10% exactly.
She did say about, or they did say about.
And I had reached the limits of my endurance. In the worlds of Schopenhauer, Jesus, why is everyone who approaches this book like...
Yeah, the way that I view it is actually very similar to the way Kierkegaard viewed the great classics.
In the words of Schopenhauer, one of the conditions for reading what is good is that one must not read what is bad, for life is short and time and energy are limited. I wish I could return this book for a refund. One more thing, I absolutely hate it when authors use, this is not fun anymore. There's like some fun transphobia at the end, and by fun I mean I'm not going to give it air on this podcast.
That's super awesome. Yeah, no, we have like zero tolerance for transphobia of all kind. That's awesome. I love it.
Anyway, I really appreciate that the majority of these reviews essentially are like, it was incomprehensible and turgid and terrible, and I'm like, so are your reviews. So if you want to go have a philosophy battle, I guess the author really succeeded in that.
Yeah. Verified kills. All right, everyone. It's time for a new special bit here right at the end. It's time for verified kills with Josie.
God, Josie's been promising me this bit, and I haven't been prepared.
All right, everyone. So, every once in a while, people, they move on from this world. For example, known bastard Stan Lee, November 12th, 2018, died.
Stan Lee. I know, like, I proselytize against him, but a lot of people like him, and we don't want to alienate by episode 3.
Oh, listen, it's okay. Stan Lee stole a lot of content from people. He also revolutionized comics. These two things exist together.
We
you
arrive
know?
net neutral. It's Stan Lee.
Yes.
Don't leave our podcast. We're not going to talk shit.
Stan Lee was a genius, but also he stole a lot of people's work. You know, it happens.
Whoops.
But those people's verified Twitter accounts keep on tweeting.
What?
That's right. Past his death, at the real Stan Lee continues to tweet. The person who helps others simply because it should or must be done, and because it is the right thing to do, is indeed, without a doubt, a real superhero. Stan Lee. Hashtag Stan Lee. Hashtag Motivation Monday. That's from January 13th.
Oh my god, we live in hell. Oh my god, we live in hell. We live in gendered hell.
February 14th, the real Stan Lee. Happy Valentine's Day. Hashtag Flashback Friday.
Wait, did they say hashback?
Hashtag, I'm sorry, I said hashback.
I was really excited. They were really committing to the old man character.
Hashtag Flashback Friday to the 90s with these old school Marvel cards. Which one would you give to your crush? Hashtag Valentine's Day. All right, so we've got some really excellent ones. Some Spider-Man saying, "Won't you stick around, Valentine?" I'm gonna turn the computer so we can
That's a
see some of these right
wow,
here.
yeah, uh-huh.
You're incredible with a picture of very vintage Hulk.
I mean, yeah, uh-huh.
A true red, white, and blue Valentine. What does that mean, Becca? What does that mean?
I don't want to know.
You're cosmic. Happy Valentine's Day.
Since when have Valentine's Day cards ever been good, though?
Why is the silver... Why was in 1990, why did Marvel come out with a Silver Surfer Valentine's Day card?
Do you think they edited them, though? I don't think they came out that way in the 90s. Do you?
The colors are... yeah, I mean, it definitely
It
looks
does
like
say
they...
copyright 1990 on there now, doesn't it?
But it does very much look like the text is kind of like put in maybe with some like Windows Paint.
I just don't trust anything on the internet anymore.
Which I think is a really great
Especially
tribute
since
to
like
Stan Lee.
Stan Lee's tweeting from beyond the grave. Don't forget.
So that's verified kills. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Oh god, this is so morbid.
All right, everyone.
Oh no.
Here we are at the end of the podcast. Let's now turn.
Okay, are you staying faithful?
Let's now start to turn down towards the end. Kind of tone things down a bit and move on to some acknowledgments. I'd like to acknowledge They Might Be Giants, who let us put their song Don't Let's Start as our theme song. So thank you very much to They Might Be Giants. Thank you to Rogue Media Network and Oni-chan Productions, and of course Mike, our producer, for having us.
And please check out
here.
all of the different shows on Rogue Media Network. They're putting out a lot of great content.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for some of the new things that are coming.
Tunes and Tea, Private Hip Hop Podcast, Keep Waco Loud. So many good things. And then obviously all the local businesses here in Waco that are supporting us. Nexus Esports, Waco Escape Rooms, Waco Pedal Tours, and then maybe some local businesses that maybe want to support us but are still very cool, especially if you're into books, which if you're listening to ours, you are. So
yeah,
there are
if
some
you're
local
if you're a local
businesses.
Wacoan, check out Fable, check out Golden's, check out Bankston's. I mean, we know that we use a lot of our content goes to Amazon, but we really want to emphasize local businesses. It's really important to us. Go buy your books local.
Yes, absolutely. And if for whatever reason you don't have a local bookstore, Becca actually just this past week sent me a link to a very cool website called bookshop.org.
Bookstore.com?
Oh, book BOOKSHOP .org. Very good at typing.
I think it's .com.
It is bookshop.org. It very much is. And so yes, bookshop.org.
Just kidding.
All right, here we go. We'll restart that take now that we actually figured that out, because that was a whole lot of mess. Where was I?
If you don't have a local bookstore,
Yes, if you don't have a local bookstore, Becca had just showed me a really cool website called bookshop.org, and they are giving 10% of their profits to local bookstores who are just enrolled in the program. Those bookstores don't actually have to do anything other than get on their list of local bookstores and indie bookstores, and they get 10% of those profits. So they're just trying to divert some of the funds from Amazon back into local and indie bookstores. And so that's a really great way if you can't get out and sometimes, your bookstore just didn't have what you want. Bookshop.org is a great place to go instead. So do that.
or order direct from the creators if you have that option to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get that money directly to them.
Absolutely. And then rate us, give us a 5-star review if you would like, please.
These early episodes are really important to get down on that ground level, and we really appreciate you listening to us.
Yeah.
We're a pair of dumb idiots who got a podcast. I still can't believe it.
We're really, really happy about it, and we want it to be good. And so, let us know what you think. Share it with your friends, and let's keep making the things.
So hit me with your best Hogue.
Yeah, so now it's time for the Dark Horse Devotional.
Dark Horse Devotional.
Page 13 from Tammy Hogue's Dark Horse.
Giving it something.
Face turned to the sun as she blew a lazy stream of cigarette smoke at. Yeah. Ooh. I can
That
see
makes me
it.
feel free.
It's wisping
Oh,
away.
here we fade out.
Right as we hear bum 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 bum.
Oh.
Da, 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 da. All right.
Episode.
This has been Rogue Media Network Podcast.